What happens when you stop eating sugar? Here's what science says happens to your body from your brain to your toes. But before we uncover the surprising effects of not eating sugar, let me first share something with you that you may find very interesting. So I was looking at some stats the other day, and did you know that like 65% of adults in the US are eating more sugar than they should? That's crazy, right? It got me thinking about all the sugar we eat without even realizing it. I mean, I love my sweet treats as much as the next person, but this sugar thing is no joke. You see, eating too much sugar isn't just about gaining a few extra pounds. It's way more serious. It can mess with your heart, up your chances of getting diabetes, and some studies report it may even lead to some scary stuff like cancer and Alzheimer's. I had an uncle who struggled with diabetes, and it was tough seeing him go through that. It really opened my eyes to how important diet is. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you should never touch anything sweet again. Fruits, some dairy, and certain veggies have natural sugars, but they're the good guys. They come with all these awesome nutrients like fiber and vitamins. It's the added sugars you gotta watch out for. You know, the stuff they put in foods when they're being made or cooked. We're talking about the usual suspects like white and brown sugar and also corn syrup. Here's the kicker. All these added sugars are just empty calories. They don't do anything good for you. I tried cutting them out once, and let me tell you, it was a game changer. I didn't just lose some weight, I felt more energetic, my skin looked better, and I didn't get those crazy sugar crashes anymore. So what really happens when you kick added sugars to the curb? Well, it's not just about looking good. First off, did you know that cutting out sugar can actually make you feel happier and keep your brain sharp? That's right, number one on our list. You'll lower your risk for depression and even keep your memory on point. I remember reading about how too much added sugar, not the natural stuff in fruits, but the extra sugar we add to foods, can really mess with our heads. It's like if you're eating a lot of sugary stuff, you're more likely to feel down or anxious. I had a friend who was always on a sugar high, and man, her mood swings were intense. Turns out sugar can cause inflammation in your brain, which is no good for your mental health. And here's another thing. Cutting down on sugar can help keep your memory sharp. I mean, who doesn't want to remember where they left their keys, right? There was this study in 2020 with over 3,600 older Americans, and they found that people who ate a lot of sugar had more memory problems. It's not just sugar, though. Diets high in fat and carbs were troublemakers, too. Researchers think it's because of inflammation in the brain, especially in this area called the hippocampus, which is super important for memory. Now here's the kicker. Sugar doesn't just affect your mood and memory. It's also linked to some serious stuff like type 2 diabetes and heart disease, which can also mess with your brain function. So when you cut down on sugar, you're doing your mind and body a huge favor. Alright, moving on to number 2 on our list. Did you know that ditching added sugars can actually make you feel less hungry? Yeah, it's all about this hormone called leptin. Let me break it down for you. Leptin is like the boss of appetite control. It sends signals to your brain about when to eat and when to put down the fork. But here's the thing. When you're dealing with obesity or insulin resistance, your body starts ignoring leptin's messages. It's like having your phone on silent mode. You just don't get the alerts. I remember when my cousin was struggling with his weight. He was always hungry, no matter how much he ate. It turned out his body was just not getting the right signals because of all the added sugars he was consuming. So, he decided to cut back on the sweet stuff, and guess what? His constant hunger pangs started to go away. What's really happening is that when you manage your glucose levels better, you start fixing that leptin resistance. And a big part of that is saying goodbye to added sugars. It's not an overnight fix, but over time, you'll notice you're not always scavenging for snacks. Cutting out those added sugars helps get those leptin signals back on track, and suddenly you're not always thinking about your next meal. It's pretty cool how your body can bounce back like that. Coming up next, we've got something pretty exciting. You're gonna have way more energy. This was a game changer for me, and I bet it will be for you too. So here's the deal with sugar. It's kind of like that friend who gets you super hyped up for a party and then suddenly bails on you. You eat something sweet, feel a rush of energy, and then bam, you crash. Hard. I used to rely on sugary snacks for a quick energy boost, especially during my afternoon slumps. But all I got was this roller coaster of highs and lows. And let's not even talk about the crankiness that comes with the crash. My family started calling it my sugar mood swings. But guess what? When you cut out those added sugars and start eating more complex carbs and natural sugars like fruits, it's a whole different ballgame. Your body gets this steady, even supply of energy. No more crazy ups and downs. I remember when I made the switch, I started feeling more awake during the day, and surprisingly, I was sleeping better at night too. Apparently, when you eat less added sugar, you tend to get longer, more restful sleep. Who knew, right? So swapping out those sugary snacks for healthier options doesn't just help your waistline, it turns you into this energizer bunny. And who doesn't want to feel like they can conquer the world every day? All right, moving on to something super important. Your heart and your brain will be way healthier when you cut down on added sugar. And trust me, this is something you really want to pay attention to. I remember reading this study from Biomed Central in 2023 that totally opened my eyes. It turns out that people who eat a lot of added sugar aren't just risking a bigger waistline, they're also putting their hearts in danger, regardless of other factors like weight. This study showed a clear link between lots of added sugar and a higher risk of heart disease and even strokes. Here's the thing, when you eat too much sugar, it's not just about getting a sugar rush. It can hike up your blood pressure, cause inflammation, and even make your liver dump bad fats into your bloodstream. All of this is like a recipe for heart trouble. I had a friend whose dad was a big sweet tooth. He thought as long as he wasn't gaining weight, he was fine. But then he had a health scare. Turned out his heart wasn't doing so great, and the main culprit was his high sugar diet. It was a wake-up call for all of us. He had to really overhaul his diet, cutting back on sugar big time, and the difference in his health was night and day. So remember, when you're reaching for that extra cookie or soda, it's not just about calories. You're also making a choice for your heart and brain health. All right, here's something that might really grab your attention. Did you know that cutting back on added sugar can actually help your skin look younger? Yeah, who knew our sweet tooth was secretly sneaking up on our skin? So a high sugar diet isn't just bad for your waistline, it's also a nightmare for your skin. It leads to these things called AGEs, advanced glycation end products. I know, sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? But they're real, and they speed up your skin's aging process. I remember when my sister, who's a bit of a health nut, told me about this. She's always been into eating healthy, and her skin, it's amazing. She's got this glow and hardly any wrinkles. She swears it's because she cut out a lot of sugar from her diet. And there's actually research backing this up. Cutting down on sugar can slow down those aging effects on your skin, especially if you're also eating lots of fruits and veggies. Now, we're curious to hear your thoughts. Have you ever tried cutting back on sugar? What changes did you notice? Drop a comment below and share your sugar-free journey with us. And if you found this video enlightening, give it a thumbs up. Your likes help us reach more people and spread the word about living a healthier life. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more content that helps you make informed choices about your health and wellness. Catch you in the next video.